Coming up on this week's show, we find a larger, more spacious replacement for a VW Polo TSI.
We embark on the hunt for the perfect 7-seater SUV.
And we examine a brand new car experiencing stiff gear changes.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. And joining us in studio this week are Brendan Staniford from Marula Media and Wayne Bull from Waterford Land Rover. Welcome, Brendan, you all to the show.
Gentlemen.
Welcome, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. Now remember, if you like the panel's advice, which we hope you do, you can send us an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za, or you can just pop us a DM on Instagram @ignitiontv. And please give us as much information as possible, including a pretty picture of yourself. Now we're going to kick off things with a question from Simpiwe, who comes from Cape Town. He's shopping for a reliable SUV for his family of 4. He's only got a budget of 150,000 Rand. He expects high mileage cars, however, he prioritizes low running costs. Which SUV offers the best value and long-term reliability? Wayne, let's start with you. 150 grand doesn't buy you a lot.
150 grand, it doesn't. Had this question many times.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to head down the Mazda road.
Yeah.
Previous gen Mazda CX-5, you'll get a 2-litre active. I mean, they had a few models up to that point already, and you'll find something. Yes, it's going to have kilos. But a Mazda with kilos is spot on.
It's like a Toyota with kilos.
It's
only a
spot on.
number.
As long it's a number. I mean, if that thing's got a service history, you're good to go. That would be my go-to. Absolutely would be my go-to.
It's a great option if you can find something like that in your budget. The Mazda CX-5. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'll find. I mean, there was before the recognizable shapes that we've got of the CX-5s now. You had one or two before that were very undershadowed.
Yeah.
I will add the two options. You can find an X-Trail in that budget, which is equally cheap to maintain. They were inoffensive, not enormously popular, so you'll get more for your money.
Yes.
Now, I was going to ask you, because I know you're a fan, do you think you could get into a CRV for that?
100%.
Which is
That's where I would go.
Absolute bulletproof reliability.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit older, but you found when you look for a nice one.
So you can find generation from the 2008 to 2012 generation. That's the more sort of roundy one.
Yep.
You'll find a lot in that price range. And you'll also find the next generation, the CRV, the 4th generation, which was slightly longer. You'll find a 2-litre auto in that range. And the thing is, what I like about Hondas, who buys Hondas? You don't get Windgats
Old
buying
conservative
Hondas.
people.
That's
Except for
why
the
I've had a
VTEC.
couple of them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But you know what? Generally, it is true. I mean, it's people who aren't fussed by image, who aren't fussed. They just want a car that's reliable, that goes and goes and goes. So and they generally look after the car. Whenever you look at like any of the Honda products, Jazzes, Civics, CRVs, go look at their service history. The guys will have done them. Yeah. They've looked after them. They maintain. And it's not somebody who's going to take the car and race around.
You guys, you know what? Coming back to the Hondas, I want to go with another Honda that Adam had. Yeah. If you can still find one, the FRV.
Yeah.
Now, there's a beautiful SUV.
Yeah, cool.
And he doesn't have to worry. He puts his entire family in the front seat.
Yeah.
There's no need to use the back.
So for those of you who don't know the FRV, which stands for Family Recreational Vehicle, there was 3 seats in the front and 3 seats in the back. It's a big, fat, wide one. And
More of an MPV, but yeah, they were lovely.
They actually were ugly, but seriously good in terms
family-orientated
They
vehicle.
did their job very well.
On the Honda and the Mazda, both, so a CX-5 or a CRV, I would argue that both are actually also luxury cars.
Yes.
They're good.
They're a bit more premium.
Beautifully made.
Japanese
They're
premium.
actually premium cars.
Those are the best value that you'll find in the price range.
And you notice,
less risky.
guys, what cars we've recommended?
Japanese.
Japanese cars. Our next viewer is Enrico, and he drives a well-kept 2016 VW Polo TSI and is looking for a larger second or replacement vehicle. Him and his wife enjoy long road trips around South Africa and need more space for luggage. With a 280,000 Rand budget, they're considering a Mercedes-Benz C180 or, as Adam would recommend, a Honda CR-V.
Yeah.
Which vehicle would best suit their needs?
Well,
Come on, there's only one vehicle out
so
of
we
those.
move on. Wayne, again with you.
I'm going to go with my choice on the previous question.
Yeah.
CX-5, and again, CRV's in there.
Yeah.
So there again comes up, and I mean, there you can go slightly better spec model, slightly new,
Yes.
slightly newer. I mean, in the CX-5, you could maybe get a diesel. You could get the 2.2 diesel. So you've got options in that range, and very good options.
Two notes here, both sort of like totally different to each other. He could get into a Golf 7, which at that price point, he could get into a Golf 7 TSI if he's looking for slightly bigger than his Polo. And another option, I'd say, they go look for a 320 diesel. If he's not offended by sedans, 320D, the consumption will be incredible. They're generally reliable. It'll have lovely space. It'll be good to drive as well.
You'll get a reasonable F30 series in that.
And
You can look for a touring.
diesel.
Yeah.
You can look for a touring
If
as
you
well.
can find one.
Yeah.
Very rare, but if you find one, they also generally a well looked after car.
And
It's
if you
not a
don't know
car
what a
that's-
touring is for South Africans, it's a station wagon.
Station wagon, yeah.
Starsival.
That's the
Why
one.
we don't buy more of them, I don't know. I just love station wagons.
They're
They're
beautiful
same.
and they're lovely to drive. But yes, everyone is sort of always goes down this SUV route
SUV
and
route.
says, I have to have an SUV because the roads are terrible. And I've just had a 911 on test, which is flat on the ground. And I didn't fall into any potholes. I didn't shatter 9 tires.
You're lucky. 'cause
Yeah.
something would kill you if you did.
Guys must just drive better.
Yeah, but sometimes, I mean, we know. Sometimes you can't. So, I mean, the CRV that he's looked at there is also a great option. 280,000 Rand will buy you a really nice CRV. But that will give you a huge amount of space. They're extremely comfortable. They're very reliable. If you want to keep a vehicle for 10 years plus, you know, you look at a Japanese product.
Japanese.
The Mazda CX-5 is also a great option, a superb option.
I got to go back on my word and say the Koreans are fast catching up with reliability. So if he wants to look at a Sportage as well,
Yeah, nothing wrong
or
with
a
the Korean
Hyundai,
products. Yeah.
Hyundai Tucson or a Sportage, he'll be doing well. And he will find it in the 280.
And
280,000
that
rand.
year
Well-
in the Sportage, you got a 2-litre CRDI EX
Yes.
Plus. They were exquisite. The
Lovely,
interiors
lovely
were
motor.
Beautiful car.
And it felt like a really solid car.
Yeah, and that engine, man, they serviced and maintained well. That
40
engine just
kilowatts
runs.
was
Yeah,
strong.
And possibly even a higher kilo Sorrento.
Yeah.
yeah.
2.2.
So here we go. He was looking at a C180. Nobody's even mentioned it.
Yeah, and we answered his last question or fact there. Low risk for theft. We haven't given him a single vehicle.
Well,
that's
there
high
we
risk
go.
for
All those cars that we mentioned, none of them have got a Toyota badge on. Okay, stay tuned because after the break, we embark on the hunt for the perfect 7-seater SUV.
theft. And light commercial bakkies from Hyundai and Kia go head to head. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you've just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Justin is searching for a second-hand 7-seater SUV with a 400,000 Rand budget. The Toyota Fortuner is his top choice, but he's curious about the Chevrolet Trailblazer's reliability. He intends to use the vehicle for daily trips, holidays, and occasional gravel driving. He's also considering older models like the 2019 Isuzu MU-X. Gentlemen, I would not put him, if he's a family man, in a Toyota.
Why? They're fantastic cars, man.
I didn't say
All
the
great
word
cars.
Best
cars.
SUV you can
I didn't
buy.
say the
Does
word.
it say where he is? Does he say he's in Gauteng?
I would put him. I like what you get in the Trailblazer, gentlemen. I don't know about you and what's your take on that, Brendan.
So the Trailblazer's a bit old though. They left
Yes,
the country
it's old, yeah.
6 years ago already. So I wouldn't necessarily go down that road. For 400,000, MUX is a great option. He'll get plenty MUX for his money, which he'll be able to drive for 1,000,000 kilometers, and it will go forever. It won't give any troubles. Pajero Sport is also an option.
Yep.
Pajero Sport,
Also, 2 million kilometers.
yeah, current MUX interior for me is nicer than a Pajero Sport interior, but I would go down that road. Everest is exquisite, but Everest will have reliability woes and things a little bit later, especially if it's a 2.2. They're not fantastic.
If you maintain those things properly and you take it to people who look after them, there is many of those vehicles that I see
serious
as well,
mileage.
where they've done 4, 5, 600,000 kilometers.
Correct.
But I had a client today, 110,000 kilometers, where the engine went pop.
You see, and you don't know. If you're buying it second hand
Yeah.
at 400,000, how was it maintained?
Yeah,
Who
so
maintained
that's
it?
the
So
thing.
that's the tricky.
So, Wayne, your input.
Out of those, MUX, I'd say MUX, I mean, you've got nice options there. You've got a 1.9 motor, you've got a 3-litre motor that you can choose from. And slightly smaller 7-seaters, but it could look new. It's a Rumion.
Yeah,
That's a 7-seater.
yeah,
I don't know how big this guy wants
Yeah.
You know, if he wants a 4x4.
But it's also got that Toyota problem.
Absolutely, and then you've got the Ertiga. This is a
Yeah.
Ertiga. It's also got the Toyota.
Also got
the
the same
Toyota problem, but phenomenal little vehicles.
Okay, so one I want to throw in here. I mean, what we mentioned here are all great, but if you want to go Chinese and you look at something like a Cherry Tiggo 8, you will buy for 400,000 Rand, you'll get one with 50, 60,000 kilometers. You're going to get a low mileage one with lots of features. Sure, the fuel consumption is not going to be like the diesel versions, but if you want something that's got tremendous amount of features, won't have the theft risk, I quite like the car to drive. I don't know how you feel, Brandon, but you don't like it. You're not a fan of them.
No, so they do give you a ton of car for the money.
Yeah, it's a lot of car for the money.
The throttle calibration and the safety systems drive me absolutely demented. I can't.
Yeah.
Until they, if you do get the 2-liter turbo with what do they call it, a 390, I think, which has a dual clutch gearbox to reverse out of your driveway.
Yeah. So
When you take your foot off the brake pedal, it starts rolling forwards. You touch the accelerator and it goes, cool, is it us? And you tear out of the driveway at 3,000 miles
I have
an hour.
experienced that.
Yeah, they're terrible.
So, I mean, a friend of mine I know, he bought one when Tiggo 8 first came out, he bought one. And actually chatted to him recently, I said, how's that car going? Because it's now 3 years old. And he's done like 90,000 Ks and had not a day's issue with it.
Yeah.
And like I've said to him, do you find any problem with, and this guy used to drive a GTI before, gone to this. No, he doesn't have an issue. We drive so many new cars, we know how they should feel and whatever. And then you get something where they have poor calibration and acceleration and stuff like that. Some people don't even notice
I
it.
think some guys just wrap their head around it.
It's
If that's the car you've bought,
It's an option to go and have a look at. I think it's a superb value option.
Yes.
You do get a lot of features for your car.
Lot of car for your money.
And some of these, like you mentioned about pedal calibration, you can take them to guys that tune them, and they can rewrite the software on them to make them drive better.
Pedal booster.
Don't
that's an
be
option.
advising people to take cars under warranty to guys that
This
can
would be-
readjust your
Well,
pedal
this must probably be
calibration.
Well, if they do calibration like that, nobody's going to know. Anyway,
Oh, you see, Adam is starting
giving
terrible advice today. Yeah,
If your car's under warranty,
do not interfere.
don't fiddle with it.
they won't know. I'm going to move on now before I get in trouble. Samuel seeks a reliable second-hand bakkie or light commercial vehicle for his small business. He's considering a Honda H100 or the Kia K2700, but he's open to similar models. Key priorities are load capacity, durability, low maintenance, and his maximum budget is 400,000 Rand. You can go buy an H100 brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah. And if he's looking at doing serious mileage over a long period of time, I would not deviate from the Kia or the Honda.
Yeah.
Kia is turbocharged.
2500,
2500 is turbocharged. If you do want to use it for a very long period of time, buy that one.
Wayne, what do you think?
You know, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here.
Do it.
The Foton Marla.
Yeah. So the Foton Marla is a what?
Foton Marla is a 2.2 ton truck,
Yeah.
drop sides, 360,000 brand new.
Wow.
2.2
Yeah.
ton.
2.2 ton.
So that's double the size
So
of the
because those are
H100 and
1.3.
the-
Correct?
So it's
Yeah. So 2.2 ton, 2-liter Cummins motor,
Yeah.
ZF gearbox.
So it's actually a
that's
great option.
kind of bulletproof.
Then-
Those 2 units you mentioned,
Then you've got
that's
the,
like bulletproof.
And that cab is beautiful to be inside. I've sat in one, I've driven one. It's beautiful to be inside. Aircon, radio. It's fancy for a guy who's driven a K2700 and H100.
Then you've got the JAC, which is like a clone of the H100. That's also got a 2.8 turbo diesel engine in it,
There we
which is
go.
a bit more power. Because the big problem with me, the K2700, is if you're going to drive in and about town, it's fine.
Yep.
Otherwise, you can't go on the highway with it. H100, same sort of
Correct.
problem. The other vehicles that you've mentioned, and like the JAC, which is another option, turbocharged, you get a bit more power. The problem with the K2700 and the H100 is when you give it to a driver to drive it, what do? They go up the hills at 40 k's an hour and down the hills at 160 k's an hour. They hammer the hell out of them, and that's what wrecks the engine. Now, we were talking earlier
I've got
about
proof of that in my workshop
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah, every week we
Pistons
have.
on the floor.
Yes. Yes.
So if you look at the Kia, buy the 2500, you pay a little bit more for it, but it's got the same engine that the H1 had in it, the 2.5 turbo engine, and it's a strong
good motor
engine.
that.
But again, if you maintain it, it's got more than enough power. And then you have a 6-speed box as opposed to a 5-speed manual. But I like your option. If you want something that's bigger, see, it depends what he needs.
Correct.
I mean, your small business, do you want to be driving around in a truck?
Yeah.
You know, a groot truck.
And
just
license
mentioned
to
some-
drive that, because
10.
the others,
10.
you
Need a 10.
You need a 10.
You need a 10.
See, that's the difference.
You've just
Yeah,
mentioned
double
something
axle at the
that's
back.
made my ears go. "Blah."
Yeah.
At that money, at 400 grand, could he get into an H1 panel van?
Yeah, but you'll find
But
something with fairly high
second
mileage.
hand.
The problem with those, like H1 panel vans, is people use them and they drive them all day long, and they normally have fairly high mileage. I would rather say at that kind of money, go and buy yourself what Wayne's suggesting.
And
Or-
Foton, another vehicle from Foton, they've also brought out a panel van now.
Yeah.
Also with a 2.8 diesel motor, and you get the one with the 2 liter diesel motor.
Yeah.
Is another
You
option.
see, Foton has just come back into the country after
Yeah.
2010, 11, when they
Correct.
pulled out, something like that.
Correct.
So, and they bring in some reasonable stuff, and because of the price of the more mainstream manufacturers, they've come in at a lot of competitive pricing. So we also don't know a hell of a lot about the Foton stuff. I don't know if you've been driven in them.
I know. I actually, I moved to Foton for a while as well. So
Yeah.
I was asked to assist at my
Yeah.
previous position, and it was they're phenomenal.
Yeah, they're good value.
I must say, great value
Because
for
I
money.
can think of an equivalent truck to the Foton. It's triple that money.
Yeah, well, I mean, and they look
Correct.
like that too. All right.
Okay. We'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we examine a brand new car experiencing stiff gear changes.
And we explore whether a cam belt failure 20,000 kilometers after replacement is justified. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Up next we have a question from Brian. Now he recently bought a new car but struggles to engage reverse gear smoothly, often forcing it in. The salesman acknowledged similar past complaints but said it shouldn't be a problem and advised raising it with the first service. Brian wants to know if this issue is normal with a new car. So we're talking about a car that's got a simple gearbox, it's got no synchronization in the reverse gear. Brendan, Wayne, I'm sure you guys have had these issues on every freaking car.
No.
Never.
I mean,
You know, you should just pull that mat back from underneath the clutch.
I was going to
Yeah,
say
that's-
move the seat forward so you
Yes.
push the clutch.
Further down, yeah.
you get the clutch in all the way.
Fully,
But you know,
yes.
those are all justified. Those are all justified comments, because that can very well be, and someone's not realizing.
Yeah.
that
You know,
they-
I'm not
that
saying
they-
he can't drive.
Absolutely
I'm
not,
saying
but I've done it.
Go down to the dealer. If the dealer man gets in and goes, no, sir, it's fine. Okay, then you're not pushing the clutch in deep enough. So there could be a manufacturing default, a rubber or something's not right.
In terms of the reverse gear, you must understand what's happening inside the gearbox. So your gears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all have synchro meshes
Yeah.
to help synchronize the gear change. In other words, just a smooth change. Your reverse gear is a
Solid,
straight cut
yeah.
gear. In other words, they're not. I've forgotten the word. What they call it?
No synchro mesh.
Yeah. So they don't.
There's nothing
mesh, no.
slowing the gear
So
down.
you've got straight gears like this. So they do this. So often, and I found this with loads of cars, and I drive lots of old junk cars. So you get in, you put it in reverse, nothing happens. You holding it into the reverse, you let your clutch out a little bit,
and
just
it
moves the
drops
gear, clunk, it drops into gear. Or you just take it out and stick it in another gear, and the gearbox moves, and those gears now line up.
Older
And
cars as well. Also, just be patient with it.
I can tell you that it won't cause a problem. Unless, of course, like Brendan says, there could be an issue there. Maybe it is a gear selector, because that car has, if I remember
And
correctly,
you know
it's got
what
some
does-
cables that adjust the gear change. Maybe they need to be adjusted a little bit. But generally, you'll find most probably, when you try put it in reverse, it doesn't want to go in, hold it there, just let the clutch out slowly, and you feel it go clunk into gear, and off you go.
And finally, Walter, owner of a 2011 Ford Everest 3-liter diesel, replaced his cam belt at 192,000 kilometers. But it snapped just 20,000 kilometers later. He wonders if this is a reasonable lifespan or a premature failure. He is also concerned about similar risks for his wife's Ford Figo, which has had its cam belt replaced early at 76,000 kilometers. Now, gentlemen, before we go and tackle that, I would like to know from Walter where he had this cam belt replaced. Oh, he says here,
At
at
a
an RMI-approved workshop. So they carry a guarantee?
Yes. But they said there's no guarantee because of the time and all that kind of stuff. 6 months warranty.
10,000.
So just take that failed cam belt in your hand, and I promise you, when you beat the workshop owner the second time,
He's going to do yours.
must murder
But you know
him.
what
He's gonna
happens in
replace
this instance is the consequential damages of a broken cam belt
This is the
not cheap.
On that engine, it breaks all the rockers.
Everything. Rockers,
So,
valves.
20,000 Ks later, my opinion is that it was not repaired properly, not replaced properly, or the belt they replaced it with
That was
had a
my that was
manufacturing
my
fault.
thinking. The belt. What
Yes.
belt was used?
The belt had a manufacturing fault and the belt has snapped. But unfortunately, in my opinion, and there'll be rules around an RMI dealer, so you'll have a better insight. My opinion is you've got to force these guys to play a game.
So in terms of the CPA, you need to give a 6 months, 10,000 kilometer guarantee, and that is correct. But in the rules of normal brain, you say, hang on a
Second.
20,000
Kilometers
kilometers
in the belt
If
breaks.
it happens to me with one of my clients, I'm not even arguing with the guy. I'm saying
Bring it in.
somebody
Messed up.
pooped here.
Yeah.
So let's sort it out for you, whatever the cost is. I had this issue with a client. We changed the cam belts on his Mitsubishi Colt Triton, and it's a 2.5 Mitsubishi Triton, not the Colt. I'm old school, thinking Colt Triton bakkie. And what we actually found out was the supplier that supplied us the components, one of the tensioners wasn't up to standard, and it actually failed. And that's what's caused the belt to break. So the manufacturer came to the party and supplied us all the parts and everything, but it's obviously our labor and stuff like that. Sometimes these happen where you get, from a quality product, you get a component that is faulty. So you've got to ascertain what failed. Was it just the belt broke? Was it installed too tight?
Yes.
Did they change all the components there because you've got cam belt tensioners and rollers and everything's got to be replaced with that part? If it failed at 20,000 kilometers, I'm with Brendan 100%. I think that they should come to the party. You should not be paying anything for them.
Two sides.
If it was 5 years down the
Yes,
back,
absolutely.
or you had an oil leak on it, I can understand that.
I'll add there's two small things here. If Mr. Moore went to these guys and said, no, just replace the belt. I don't have all the money for the tensioners and
everything else.
story.
Yes.
sorry, Bell, you're
That's-
on your own.
yeah.
Another thing that South Africans do, and it breaks my head, I don't understand. You replace something in your workshop. Something else breaks. I go to Segi's workshop and my workshop and the dude down the street, and then I come to you and say, no. 17 other oaks have now fiddled and opened and closed.
Yes.
You must fix it.
Yes.
I'd also tell you, sorry,
Yeah.
Bell.
So the argument I use,
No, at least you say sorry. I'd use totally different.
Yeah. Just bring it back to me.
you can't buy your cell phone from Macro and send it to some guy in the
Yes.
plaza to fix it for you, then take it back to Macro and say, I think don't work.
So keep going back to the
Correct.
same garage,
Definitely.
and you better hope, sir, that you did whatever they suggested you needed to do
Yes.
for the cam belt. So if you said, no, I don't want all the other 52 parts you've quoted for the 17,000 Rand, I just want the 300 Rand cam belt.
There we go.
And now it's exploded, you're on your own.
You're on your
So take it up with the dealer, tell him you called us, and tell him what we said. Otherwise, don't go back there. Okay, and unfortunately, just like that, we have come to the end of another episode. So Wayne and Brendan, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
joining
having us. Thank
Thanks
you.
for all your insightful information. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, remember to keep left, past right, and please keep it safe on the roads.